Hello, everybody. How's it going? DishNet34 here, welcoming you, Rob Tomlinson, to today's episode of This Week in Perfect Team, episode number 225 for Immortal Seasons, set number 4. Oh, man. Hopefully, we're all having a good day so far. It is another wonderful day to be alive. I'm looking forward to this set, and I hope y'all are too, because we have some pretty good cards coming up today. I'm looking forward to it. I hope y'all are too. A little bit rainy out there today, at least in my neck of the woods, but you know what? It's fine. We're inside, we're toasty, we're warm, we are ready to be filled with the warmth of how fire these cards are today. So let's go ahead and get started, but first things first, we will talk about some fun stuff coming out right now in the world of Out of the Park baseball, and that is, we have a sale happening right now, our World Series sale for Out of the Park Baseball 24. You can save 50% off Out of the Park Baseball 24 right now. Right now. That's pretty darn cool right there. Now, this game sale will last until November 2nd. So if you have not gotten Out of the Park 24, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, it's a pretty good deal right here. 50% off for a limited time only. But along with that, there is a perfect point sale happening right now. You can save up to 30% off of perfect points in the perfect points shop in Perfect Team. Oh man, this is some fun stuff right here. The perfect point sale lasts until next Thursday, the 26th at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So, game sale, 2 weeks until November 2nd at 50% off. Perfect points sale starting today goes until 11 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, October 26th. Awesome stuff right there. No, it's also pretty awesome. You know what else is pretty awesome that we are going to be doing today? Is a pop-up tourney. That's right. On Tuesday, we announced and opened entries for the October Surprise Pop-Up Tourney. So it's a little experiment we're kind of doing. And it's taking place today in the game with fantastic prizes starting if you just win one round. It's pretty cool stuff here. Now, this thing was like really popular. It filled like in 3 hours. So, by popular demand, we will have 2 of these pop-up tournaments next week. So be on the lookout for them. Trick or treat, potentially? But yeah, today's tournament, the October Surprise Pop-Up Tourney takes place today. 256 teams competing for some fantastic prizes. I believe there's some Immortal Seasons packs that are up for grabs today. That's going to be some fun stuff right there. Format has cards from 1980 to 1992, at least for this one, with a DH played at 1987 Shea Stadium. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, and the tournament's already filled up. I mean, this thing, when we announced it on when was it? Tuesday? I mean, this thing filled up like super quick. So you know what? We're gonna keep trying this out a little bit here. See how it goes in some future editions. It's looking pretty darn good right here. I assume different formats for next week's. Who knows? Who knows? I certainly don't, but it could be. It might not. Remains to be seen. Alrighty. Now, speaking of tournaments, I mentioned in the chat, in the live stream, in the live broadcast for TWIP today, that there was some late breaking news that has come across my desk. So late breaking, I did not have a time to make a slide. All right. And that late breaking news is that the Perfect Team World Championship. That's right, the Perfect Team World Championship, where 4 of the best teams in Perfect Team 24 face off against each other in some one-on-one, head-to-head bracketed matchups, is going to be happening on Saturday, October 28th, beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Out of the Park Developments Twitch channel. October 28th, that is next Saturday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, and it will be broadcast live on the Out of the Park Developments Twitch channel. Awesome stuff right there. That's going to be a fun time watching some of the best teams live manage their games. It's going to be a fun time. That's it? Yeah, that's it. That's pretty late. That's pretty breaking news right there, if you ask me. All right, now let's give y'all a little brief update on the LEs. On the LEs that we have in the game right now. Reggie Jackson and Livan Hernandez, there are still some available in packs right now. We have 25 Reggie Jacksons left. 75 of them have been pulled. And as for the Livan Hernandezes that we released about a week or so ago, 62 out of 100 have been pulled, meaning there are 38 left. 38 left of the Livan Hernandezes. Pretty cool stuff right there. Alrighty. So there we go. All right, now, you know what's even better than limited edition cards? Stathead Baseball, powered by Baseball Reference. And you can use code 23 OOTP25 for $25 off an annual baseball or all sport subscription. Man, I tell you, this service right here. You know, I use a lot of services with my day job and my out of the park job. Like, you don't know how much I use a whole lot of different, search engines and, resources for my journalism job on a week-to-week basis. But sometimes, folks, I like to peruse Stathead Baseball when I have some downtime, whenever that might be. And, I just plug in some random stuff into it, have it spit out some facts. And I am always amazed at what you can learn about the game of baseball from Stathead Baseball, powered by Baseball Reference. And you know what? $25 off an annual baseball or all sport subscription. I mean, we're talking this is a pretty good deal right here. I mean, subscription plans. Let's talk about these subscription plans. $25 off an annual baseball or all sport subscription. I mean, we're talking like a single sport. I'm just taking a look at the Stathead website right now. If I can find the actual prices for the stuff. So we're talking, no, it's $80 a year for a single sport, $160 for all sports. So we're talking $25 off of those. That's a pretty darn good deal right there. This offer expires December 31st, 2023. So take advantage of this deal today. Use code 23 OOTP25 at checkout for Stathead Baseball, powered by Baseball Reference. All right, folks, let's get into the meat and potatoes of today. It is Immortal Seasons set number 4. That's right, we have 2 packable cards for each era in set 4 that we're going to be revealing today, plus the toppers for sets 3 and 4 for the pairing. The toppers for the pairing of sets 3 and 4. Now, I do want to address a couple of things because apparently, there's been maybe a little bit of confusion somewhere. I don't know where, about what exactly we're doing today. So, I figured we'd take a step back here. Before we get into the cards today, we're going to go step by step through the series, through the program, so we can all be on the same page with what's going on here. All right? So, let's talk about this real quick. Let's take a little bit. Professor Dishnet is in the building. So, what is the Immortal Seasons program? So, Immortal Seasons, this is a program with packable cards and missions and toppers that revolve around notable seasons from different eras in baseball history. Now, we've had 3 sets of them so far, plus toppers for the grouping of sets 1 and 2. All right. And this program is based on the 7 eras of baseball as defined by Out of the Park. We have Dead Ball, we have Rebirth, we have Golden Era, we have Boom Era, Defensive Era, Power Era, Modern Era, all with different, date ranges in between them. Now, your main objectives for this program, you're collecting cards by era for toppers on the certain era track that you're on. So if you collect set 1 and set 2 cards for like a Dead Ball track, if you collect enough of those, you'll get the set 1 and 2 topper for the Dead Ball track right there. Now, if you collect hitters across all of the eras for a major topper, you can collect pitchers across all the eras for a major topper as well. And you can collect the era toppers for an ultimate topper at the end of the program. So now, let's take a look at everybody's favorite flowchart in the entire world. Now, you can see here that we have a kind of a flowchart of what is happening with this program. Let's take the power track, for example. We had set 1 and set 2 quite a while back. And then if you collect enough cards from both of those sets, you get the set 1 and 2 topper. Then we had set 3 about a month or so ago. And now we're having set 4 today. And if you collect the cards between set 3 and 4, you will get the topper for set 3 and 4. That combination right there. And if you collect those toppers, set 1, if you finish off the set 1 and 2 topper and the set 3 and 4 stuff, you'll be getting an era topper from sets 1 through 4. Now, in terms of what is coming with today's set, let's go back to this tweet from a couple of days ago. Immortal Seasons returns today to This Week in Perfect Team. Tune into our Twitch channel this Thursday to see which 2 packable cards per era you'll be able to find, plus the reveal of the set 3 and 4 toppers for each era. That sounds pretty straightforward. So let's put this in another perspective. Here is what is coming today. We're going to be revealing set 4, and we're also revealing the topper for the set 3 and 4 combo. And yes, there will be missions today. That is correct. That is correct. All right. So here's what's coming today. Here's what is not coming today. Nowhere in the tweet was it mentioned that the era toppers that we have previously revealed the card art for were going to be released today. All right, so what's coming today? These two right here, the era toppers, are not. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, I would imagine. Now, what is also not coming today are the major hitter topper, the major pitcher topper, and the major topper as well. Now, even though we have revealed them, we kind of wanted to do that so that you knew what was coming down the line, so you could maybe pick a track as well. All right. Now, with that being said, those toppers will come at a later date. In the bottom right card, that is Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron. All right. Now, with that being said, I am now here to reveal that the toppers will be coming on these dates right here. That's right. We're going to be releasing the toppers on these dates right here. October 23rd, Dan Brothers and Robin Yount will be released. Then October 24th, Al Kaline, the Golden Era set 1-4 topper, will be released. On October 25th, Troy Gloss, the Power Era set 1-4 topper, will be released. October 26th, J.R. Richard, the Boom Era set 1-4 topper, and Joe Sewell, the Rebirth Era set 1-4 topper, will be released. On October 27th, we will also be releasing the Clayton Kershaw Modern Era set 1-4 topper. Then we're going to take the weekend off, October 28th and 29th, and then we'll resume on October 30th. And we will be releasing the Program Hitters Topper for Cupid Childs. And then the next day, Halloween. Ooh, scary good card coming. Jacob deGrom, the Program Pitchers Topper, will be coming down the line there. And then on November 1st, the Program Toppers Topper, Hank Aaron, will be released for the Immortal Series set. Awesome, awesome stuff right there. Hopefully y'all are looking forward to it because I know I am. Woo! So, hopefully that clears up a little bit of confusion of what we are doing here today and what is coming up in the future. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get to today's cards here today. And we're going to start. Now we're going to do the same kind of order we did for set 3. We're going to start in the Modern Era, and then we're going to go backwards. So then we're going to go Power Era, then Defensive Era, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get things started. And we're going to start in the Modern Era. We're going to go to a really sneakily good season that happened about, 17 years ago. 17 years ago. Can you believe that the 2006 season was 17 years ago now? I feel old just saying that. But this guy right here, really just absolutely killed it at the plate in the 2006 season. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2006 Washington Nationals, it is 95 overall, Alfonso Soriano. Alfonso Soriano, 75 BABIP, 114 power, 51 avoid K, 94 contact, 91 gap, and 78 on the eye. This is a big power card right here. Pretty decent defense out in the outfield, 86 range, 64 error, 105 on the outfield arm. little bit more power against righties than he does against lefties, but it's a little bit more rounded out overall against lefties. You know, you got 89 BABIP, 109 power, 49 avoid K, 102 contact, 89 gap, 85 I against lefties for this Alfonso Soriano Cup. Yeah, a lot of people forget he was in Washington for about a year. Honestly, I forgot he was a Washington National. But this was a very historic season for Alfonso Soriano. Hit 277, 351, 560 with 46 home runs, 95 RBI, and 41 stolen bases. A rare, very, very rare 40-40 season for Alfonso Soriano. And he parlayed that into a big old contract with the Chicago Cubs. Oh my goodness, man. He was 6th in National League MVP that year. He was an All-Star and a Silver Slugger as well. And during this season, he became the fastest player to 200 homers and 200 stolen bases in MLB history. This guy had power. This guy had speed. And, you know, this was a really, he had some really good years with the Yankees before he made it to Washington. But man, oh man, this was when he really, really broke out right here. And he is the only player in Major League Baseball history with 40 or more homers, 40 or more stolen bases, and 10 or more outfield assists. That is how great Alfonso Soriano was. And he only finished 6th in National League MVP. Only finished 6th. Sometimes life just isn't fair. Alfonso Soriano from the 2006 Washington Nationals is in Perfect Team 24. And yeah, to hit 40 in RFK is definitely amazing. I mean, given how cavernous that ballpark was, whoo, Nelly. Whoo, Nelly. All right, next up, our second and final packable card for the modern era in this set is a guy they call the Cuban Missile. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2014 Cincinnati Reds, it is 100 overall, left-handed closer, Aroldis Chapman. Folks, look at that stuff rating right there. Woo-wee! That is 196 stuff, 125 movement, 125 homer rating, 99 pitcher BABIP, and 61 control. Guys, these are insane numbers against lefties right here. 209 stuff. 209 stuff. 124 movement, 125 homer rating, 105 pitcher BABIP, and 74 control. And he's still pretty good against righties. Just that against both sides, you know, this isn't a Aroldis Chapman card we're talking about here. So, you know, the control is not quite going to be there. Not quite going to be there. So that kind of makes him a little bit mortal, a little bit, when he's going to be on the mound. So you got the good stuff with the stuff and the pitcher BABIP, but you kind of have the control to worry about with this guy. Has a fastball, has a slider, has a little bit of a changeup on him as well. 17 stamina, 58 on the hold runners. Obviously can throw 100 plus miles an hour, because what would an Aroldis Chapman card be if he couldn't throw 100 miles an hour? Not sure what his rating on giving up clutch homers in the playoffs is, but it's probably pretty low, I would imagine. But 2014 for Aroldis Chapman. And by the way, can I just say that I'm old enough to remember when there were folks, now there were literally baseball people out there saying that Aroldis Chapman should be converted into a starter. Remember when people said that Aroldis Chapman should be a starter? Because I remember, and I remember how dumb they were for thinking that. I'm just thinking out loud here a little bit. Anyway, in 2014, he pitched in 54 games, 54 innings pitched, 36 saves, a 2 ERA, and 17.7 strikeouts per 9. That is a really, really big number. Holy cow. He was the 2014 National League All-Star, and during this season, he broke Bruce Sutter's record with 40 straight games with a strikeout. 40 consecutive games with a strikeout. My goodness. And during the season, he became the fastest to 100 strikeouts in a season, doing it in just 51 innings pitched. Absolutely outstanding right there. And this is an outstanding relief pitcher card right here. Aroldis Chapman from the 2014 Cincinnati Reds is in Perfect Team 24. All right, so we're gonna hold off on the topper for a little bit. We're gonna show that off later on in the stream. All right, so stay tuned because the set 3 and 4 toppers, we're gonna show them off at the very, very end of the stream today. So stay tuned for that. So let's go to our next pairing of packable cards. Let's go to the Power Era. And you know, the Power Era was a time of power. Rob Tomlinson, 2023. But this guy epitomized what it meant to be in the Power Era. And it was so much so that people say it saved baseball from the 94 strike. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 1998 St. Louis Cardinals, the winner of the great home run chase, Mark McGwire. Mark McGwire, 57 BABIP, 172 power, 42 avoid K, 94 contact, 50 gap power, and 125 on the eye. If you want 3 true outcomes, if you want 3 true outcomes, if you want some ball go far, this guy is gonna give it to you. Holy cow. Now, Mark McGwire, let's get this out of the way here now, because people are gonna say, well, why are the other stats so low? Well, here's the thing. 1998, dude struck out 155 times. That is, in my estimation, 22.8% strikeout percentage. Way above MLB average, right there. However, he also walked 162 times during the regular season, which is insane. But he also only had 21 doubles. His BABIP was around 285, so it wasn't as bad as it may seem, but he's had some bad BABIPs in the past. But man, oh man, this guy could absolutely make ball go far right here. Defensively over at first, it's not great. It's not great. Speed, I mean, Mark McGwire was not exactly the fleetest of foot. But in 1998, he was the winner of the great home run chase, hitting 299, 470, 752 with 70 homers, 147 RBI, and a 216 OPS plus. I mean, do you want to know the horrifying truth? Or do you want to see him sock some dingers? I think I know the answer. Finished second in National League MVP to Sammy Sosa, who finished second place in the home run chase. He was an all-star and a Silver Slugger as well. He won the home run chase. Change? Wow, why did I type that at 1:30 a.m. in the morning? He led Major League Baseball in walks, on-base percentage, and wins above replacement. And that home run percentage and walk percentage were the highest in his career. Pretty awesome power here for Mark McGwire from the 1998 St. Louis Cardinals, 96 overall. He is in perfect team 20. Oh, awesome, awesome stuff right there. Alrighty. Let's go to the perfect card that we will be revealing today from the Power era. And folks, I have been waiting for this card for so long. I hope I get this card because it is a card representative of one of the best closing seasons in recent Major League history. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2003 Los Angeles Dodgers, it is right-handed closer, game over himself, Eric Gagne. 177 stuff, 125 movement, 122 homer rating, 104 pitcher BABIP, and 92 control. Whoo boy. Whoo boy. This is a nasty card right here. And folks, there's a tiny bit of reverse splits on this guy right here. 179 stuff against lefties. 124 movement, 121 homer rating, 105 pitcher BABIP, but 91 control. And against righties, 176 stuff, 126 movement, 122 homer rating, 103 pitcher BABIP, 93 control. The guy can hold runners as well, 86 on the hold runners. He's a ground ball pitcher, which is pretty advantageous for quite a few people. 98 to 100 on the velocity, fastball, curveball, forkball combo right there. This is a card and a half right here. I mean, we're talking, this is probably the best closer in the game right now. Oh man, I'm getting the chills just thinking about this. Like, this guy, if you get this card, is going to go straight into your bullpen. In 2003 for Eric Gagne, I think a lot of you remember this season fairly fondly. 77 games, 82 and a third innings pitched, 55 for 55 in save opportunities, a 1.20 ERA. 1.20 ERA. Insane. And 15 strikeouts per 9. And of course, Eric Gagne led the MLB in saves during the regular season. And that 15 strikeouts per 9 rate, that is the 10th best relief pitcher strikeouts per 9 with a minimum of 66 innings pitched since the year 2000. That's pretty darn cool right there. He won the 2003 National League Cy Young Award and finished 6th in National League MVP, was an all-star as well. And those 55 saves were the big chunk of Eric Gagne's 84 straight save streak. I mean, we're talking this guy, 84 straight saves. That is unheard of in today's baseball right here. And this whole season happened during that streak. Started in 2002, ended in 2004. Probably the most dominant relief pitching that we will maybe ever see in our lifetime. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Gagne from the 2003 Los Angeles Dodgers is it. Perfect Team 24. All right, let's go now to the defensive era. And folks, this guy, when I saw this guy on the list, I was like, this guy? Really? But when I looked into it a little bit more, the more it just kind of made sense to me. Because, I mean, this was, one of those really good seasons that you don't hear a lot about that kind of deserve their card just because of how good it was. We take you now to the defensive era, and we start with the 1983 Philadelphia Phillies. Ladies and gentlemen, right-handed starter from that Phillies rotation, 91 overall, John Denny. 68 stuff, 117 movement, 109 homer rating, 91 pitcher BABIP, and 111 control. This is a pretty interesting card right here. A little bit better against righties than he is against lefties, but it is not by much. 69 stuff, 118 movement, 110 homer rating, 92 pitcher BABIP, 113 control against right-handed pitching. 91 stamina and 93 on the hold runners. Extreme ground ball type, 90 to 92. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup combo on this guy right here. Now, John Denny, maybe not the greatest pitcher of all time. Definitely not the greatest pitcher of all time. But in 1983, everything just was kind of put together for John Denny. I mean, up until now, he had been kind of like a middling starter in some Cardinals rotations. He actually led the National League in ERA back in 1976, but this was the year where he really put it all together. His first full season in Philadelphia, made it to the World Series, actually, where they lost to the Baltimore Orioles in that 1983 season. And this guy was a big part of that Phillies rotation that had guys like Steve Carlton in it, who went 15-16. John Denny actually led the team in wins and ERA in the 1983 season. This guy is more of a pitch to contact type. His BABIP against in 1983 was around 286, so kind of around league average, but only gave up a 626 OPS plus. Only gave up like a 250 average, which was pretty decent, all things considered. We don't really have like ground ball percentages from those particular eras, but his BABIP during that 1983 season, or at least his FIP during that season, was a 2.8. So he had a pretty good defense behind him on those 1983 Phillies right here. Let's see, 19-6 in the 1983 season with a 2.37 ERA, 5.2 strikeouts per 9, 0.3 home runs per 9. And that rate is tied for the second lowest home run per 9 rate of the entire 1980s. He gave up just 9 home runs during the regular season. This guy, pretty darn good right here. John Denny, 1983 Philadelphia Phillies, also won the NL Cy Young Award, 13th in National League MVP. So there you go. John Denny from the 1983 Philadelphia Phillies is it. Perfect Team 24. Now, there's been a little bit of a trend with our 100 cards so far tonight, or today, whenever you're watching this. And that's, we've had relievers these first couple of pairings here. That trend is going to continue one more time. One more time. Because, ladies and gentlemen, one of the premier closers of the 80s and 90s is the Defensive Era 100 overall packable card for today. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 1992 Oakland Athletics, our good pal C-Wit's best friend, 100 overall, Dennis Eckersley. 154 stuff, 124 movement, 118 homer rating, 86 pitcher BABIP, and 123 control. Whoo, boy! Against righties, 170 stuff, 128 movement, 124 homer rating, 95 pitcher BABIP, and 127 control. Now, with this guy here, you're getting some good ratings and stuff, movement, homer, control. But the pitcher BABIP, that's going to be maybe a little bit of a stick in the craw here. He's not an Eric Gagne type. He's not really an Aroldis Chapman type, but this guy more of a control and strikeout type. He'll have some pretty good key to walk ratios, but the pitcher BABIP is something you gotta be a little bit wary of. With Dennis Eckersley here. Extreme fly ball type, 92 to 94 miles per hour on the fastball. Fastball, slider, and curveball combo, 54 on the hold runners. But man, oh man, Dennis Eckersley, you take a look at his career. This was probably his best year of his career. 69 games, 80 innings pitched, 51 saves in the regular season, 1.91 on the ERA, 10.5 strikeouts per 9. He was the 1992 AL Cy Young, and somehow, some way, the American League MVP from the closer's position, the third relief pitcher to do so. Led the American League in games finished and led Major League Baseball in saves that year with 51 of them. Now 1.072, hang on a minute. I think I missed an O in here. See, this is what happens. This is what happens when I type out slides, all right, at like 1 a.m. when I'd already just gotten done with a lot of stuff I had to get done for work. And this is what happens. So 1992 for Dennis Eckersley, it was a 172 FIP, not a 172 WHIP. That's on me. I will take full responsibility for that. Because a 172 WHIP, that would be bad. That is very bad. His WHIP was actually .913, which is still pretty darn good. So there you go. Dennis Eckersley, very good strikeout guy, very good control guy. Pitching BABIP might be a little bit on the iffy side here because he did give up a 291 BABIP, a little bit above league average that year. But either way, he is in. Perfect team. 24. All right, let's move back a little bit more, and we're going to go to the boom era now. We're going to go with another kind of finesse pitcher here in the relief pitcher spot. Could be a decent pull for some low diamond tournaments. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the guys who revolutionized the closer's position in the 1970s, and a guy who kind of got shafted by Goose Gossage a little bit in the Yankees bullpen. It is 94 overall left-handed closer, Sparky Lyle. Sparky Lyle, 71 stuff, 109 movement, 103 homer rating, 86 pitcher BABIP, 101 control, 39 stamina, 80 on the hold runners, fastball, slider, and curveball combo. Now this guy right here, pretty decent movement, pretty decent pitcher BABIP here. Doesn't look maybe the greatest reliever of all time when you take a look at it from a high level view. when you take a look at his 1977 season, this guy was pretty darn good coming out of the bullpen for the New York Yankees. 72 games, 137 innings pitched, 26 saves with a 2.17 ERA, had 13 wins coming out of the bullpen for the New York Yankees. He was the 1977 American League Cy Young Award winner in, his 10th season in Major League Baseball. This was the year where he just kind of really put it all together, like I've mentioned with a few other cards so far today. Now, he did kind of get bailed out by his defense a little bit. His FIP was around a 3.18 or so. But this year was a very historic one where he became the first American League reliever to win the Cy Young Award, which is pretty awesome accomplishment, to be honest. And he also somehow finished 6th in AL MVP for some reason. But he also broke the left-handed pitching save record, which was then held by a guy named Ron Perinoski. Ron Perinoski. Not a lot of people know that guy. He was a pretty good left-handed pitcher of his day. And Sparky Lyle broke this guy's left-handed pitching career save record back in 1977. 39 stamina, though, could be effective as an opener, perhaps, for some teams. Ladies and gentlemen, Sparky Lyle from the 1977 New York Yankees is it. Perfect team. 24. All right, so the perfect card for the boom era is not a reliever. It is not a reliever. I know, it's crazy, right? It's not a reliever, but it is one of probably the greatest Chicago Cubs players of all time. And probably, the best season that this guy had. Ladies and gentlemen, at the hot corner for the 1966 Chicago Cubs, it is 100 overall, Ron Santo. Ron Santo, 86 BABIP, 110 power, 85 avoid K, 114 contact, 71 gap power, 112 on the eye. Good power and eye combo here on this guy right here. And some pretty good defense over at third base. 92 range, 78 error, 97 arm, 90 on the turn double play. Now, speed and stealing, not quite going to be there for this Ron Santo guy. But he is a pretty decent base runner. Right here, 72 on the base running. Nothing to shake a stick at, really. 1966 season for Ron Santo. A very good year. Very good year. Can Santo pitch in relief? Not 100% on that, to be honest. But the better question is, can he do the heel click? Even though that's like 3 years after this, but I mean, it's still a fair question. 1966 season for Ron Santo. 312, 412, 538 on the slash line, 30 homers, 94 RBI, and a 161 OPS plus. He was an all-star that year, 12th in the National League MVP vote, and he also won a Gold Glove as well. Led the National League in walks with 95 of them, and led MLB in on-base percentage that year with a 412. Finished with 8 offensive wins above replacement, 8.9 WAR overall, both those totals the second highest of his career. So this is a pretty good combination here of both power, eye, and I guess if we want to add a third one in there, defense as well. Could be a solid complementary piece for a perfect team roster. And maybe a starter if you don't have a whole lot of the other premier third basemen that are out there right now. This would be a pretty good guy to kind of slot into your roster if you don't have some of those premier third basemen that are out there right now. So there you go. Ron Santo from the 1966 Chicago Cubs is in perfect team 24. Alrighty, let's move on to the golden era. Let's go to the golden era. And let's go to the 1950s, the late 1950s. And this guy right here. You know, we've had a lot of power hitters so far today, but let's talk about some contact hitters of the era, because contact hitters are their own special type of breed. But when you pair contact with some really great defense, some magical things can happen. This guy right here is proof of that. Ladies and gentlemen, 98 overall, second baseman from the 1959 Chicago White Sox, it is Nellie Fox. Nellie Fox, 96 BABIP, 30 power, 120 avoid K, 115 contact, 101 gap power, and 83 on the eye. But whoo boy, with that contact right here, with this contact profile here, look at the defense on this dude right here. For a second baseman, this is some premier defense right here. 102 range, 100 error, 91 arm, 94 on the turn double play. Man, I tell you, you pair this guy up with like a Louis Aparicio, maybe a Dave Bancroft. That is a magical, I mean, that is a vacuum cleaner. That would be a vacuum cleaner of a middle infield for a lot of these teams. Holy cow. And he's a left-handed hitter too, so that might help out quite a few folks. Might help out quite a few folks on their rosters. Now, you take a look at splits here. Not a whole lot of splits, but if there is one side he's better against, probably it's against right-handed pitching. 96 BABIP, 30 power, 120 avoid K, 115 contact, 102 gap, and 85 on the eye. Now, speed and stealing were not his strong suits. All right, 56 speed, 52 stealing, but 97 on the base running. This guy, you know, wasn't exactly the speediest guy in the world. I mean, his highest stolen base total was 16 back in 1954. He only stole 5 of them with 6 caught stealing in 1959. So not going to get a whole lot of stolen bases out of this guy. But he can also bunt. He can bunt like the Dickens. I mean, he had 9 sacrifice hits during the regular season, which doesn't seem like a lot. But, you know, Nellie Fox, for what it's worth, hit 306, 380, 389, was a very consistent hitter for the 59 Sox. Only a couple of dingers, 70 RBI, 114 on the OPS plus. And somehow, some way, we're not sure how, probably because the White Sox made it to the World Series to face the LA Dodgers, lost 4-2 that year. This guy was named American League MVP. Now, I want to take a look at that MVP vote here real quick, because he won it over his teammate Louis Aparicio, won it over Early Win. I mean, this was kind of a down year, looking at some things. I mean, Rocky Colavito had 42 dingers, 111 RBI, but only hit 257. Early Win had 22 wins. You know, looking at it, honestly, it does kind of make sense how he could have been MVP, all things considered. I mean, Aparicio was right up there too. I mean, Nellie Fox only won the MVP vote by like 40 points, which is pretty crazy. But he also made both All-Star games that year, won the Gold Glove, and a fun fact here, Nellie Fox was the last AL second baseman to win the AL MVP award until Dustin Pedroia did it in 2008. Pretty interesting stuff there. And Nellie Fox also led the American League in singles that year with 149 and also led in defensive wins above replacement with 2.6. So there you go. Nellie Fox, pretty decent second base option if you ask me, is in. Perfect team. 24. All right, next up in the golden era, the 100 overall card. And folks, we cannot talk about the golden era of baseball. Cannot talk about the 1950s without talking about one of the best catchers. One of the best catchers of the era, if not the best catcher of the era. Ladies and gentlemen, I've probably just given it away because from the 1950 New York Yankees, we have 100 overall Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra, 74 BABIP, 115 power, 119 avoid K, 122 contact, 103 gap, 89 on the eye. Look at those splits against righties. 76 BABIP, 121 power, 120 avoid K, 126 contact, 103 gap, and 91 on the eye. Whoo, buddy. I look at this guy right here. I see the defense as well. 99 catcher ability, 105 arm, 32 speed, 38 stealing, 89 in the base running. Also has a little bit of outfield stats on him, even though he doesn't have any outfield eligibility, which is weird a little bit, but, you know, he didn't really play the outfield in 1950. But this guy, I look at this, right, and right away I'm thinking, this is a platoon guy for Gary Carter. This is a platoon guy for Gary Carter right here. And honestly, you know, with Carter being really good against lefties, Yogi Berra is really good against righties. So pair those two up, and you got yourself a pretty darn good catching tandem right here. Now, the BABIP is a little bit low. I do recognize that. The BABIP is a little bit on the lower side. 74, not the greatest. 1950 had a 294 BABIP, so that was actually one of the higher points of his career, honestly. But, you know, defensively, this guy was pretty darn good. This guy caught 58% of base stealers, somehow did not lead the league in that category. Finished third in AL MVP. He only struck out 12 times all year as well. That's insane. I mean, only striking out 12 times all year, that is just insane to think about in today's game. Had 124 RBI on the year, and at that point, up to 1950, that was the third highest total among catchers all time up to that point. 124 RBI, because you don't really think about, you know, catchers being a premium offensive position back in those days. I mean, there were a few really good hitting catchers. I think we've talked about Gabby Hartnett quite a bit. We've talked about those kind of guys. But Yogi Berra really defined what it means to be a hitting catcher. And that's pretty darn cool right there. 322, 383, 533 on the slash line, 28 homers, 124 RBI, and a 135 OPS plus. There you go. Yogi Berra from the 1950 New York Yankees is it. Perfect team. 24. All right, let's go to the rebirth era. And we're going to go to a guy that played for the New York Giants that a lot of people were saying was the next greatest thing, a boy wonder of all things. And, you know, he kind of lived up to those expectations for a little bit, especially, you know, 6 years into his career. He was a very fine ball player. maybe not the greatest ball player in the world of his time period, but this guy, really made an impact on the New York Giants over at the hot corner. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 1930 New York Giants, it is 93 overall, third baseman, Freddie Lindstrom. Freddie Lindstrom, 1930 New York Giant, 110 BABIP, 85 power, 92 avoid K, 127 contact, 106 gap, and 60 on the eye. Now this guy, some fairly even-ish splits. He's a little bit better against lefties, but he has a little bit more power against lefties. A little bit more avoid K against lefties as well. A little bit more gap power, but a little bit more eye against righties. A little bit more BABIP against righties. Defensively is not bad. 86 range, 74 error, 91 infield arm, 73 on the turn double play. Speed, stealing, and base running kind of on the lower side. 67 speed, 65 stealing, 60 on the base running. Very good bunter. 97 sack bunt, 95 on the bunt for hit. But Freddie Lindstrom, this season was special in a lot of ways for the guy. Giants finished third in the National League that year, and it's fine. It was fine, but this is the first time that a third baseman in the 20th century had hit 20 or more home runs. It was not a power position back in the day. Third base was not a power position. It kind of, Freddie Lindstrom kind of got the power train going around 1928 or so. Had 14 homers in 1928, 15 of them in 29, and then this was really his breakout year. 22 dingers, 106 RBI, hit 379 on the year, 425 on base, 575 slugging with those 22 homers, 106 RBI, and a 141 OPS plus, all career highs, except for RBI where he had 107 in 1928. But this guy, when I saw this next stat right here, I had to double check. I had to use some Stathead Baseball, who has a great split finder, by the way, to figure out if this was true or not. And lo and behold, this was true right here. Because in 90 games, and this is minimum 90 games, this guy with runners in scoring position, if we had like a hidden clutch rating in here, which I don't think we do, I don't believe we do, I don't think we do, this guy would have like exponentially big clutch right here. Because this guy hit 492. That is nearly 500. This guy hit 492 with runners in scoring position. That is the highest batting average with runners in scoring position of all time. And that is just insane to think about, that someone could hit 492 with runners in scoring position. Holy cow. Like, I was astonished when I saw that stat. And yet it's true. Who knew? Better than George Brett did. 492 with runners in scoring position. Insane. Insane. And his 377 BABIP that year was the 9th highest of the 1930s, which is pretty cool as well. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Freddie Lindstrom from the 1930 New York Giants is in Perfect Team 24. All right, next up, this next guy. Let's go back to the pitcher's mound. It's not a closer, but it is a very good pitcher of the 1930s. And this is one of those years for this next pitcher that you might not think about as having had a great season, but this guy had a fantastic season in 1939 for the Cincinnati Reds. ladies and gentlemen, 100 overall, right-handed starter, Bucky Walters. Bucky Walters, 89 stuff, 119 movement, 106 homer rating, 107 pitcher BABIP, and 87 control. 111 stamina, 97 on the hold runners, fastball, slider, curveball, and sinker on the pitching repertoire, and a little bit of a decent batter as well. 68 contact, 58 power, 62 eyes, 65 on the sac bunt. Now, a lot of people don't think of Bucky Walters as like a premier pitcher. You don't think about him having as great a season as he did in 1939, but you look down into it, and this guy was definitely the best pitcher of the 1939 season. 27-11 record, 2.29 ERA, 137 strikeouts. He won the National League MVP award here, and won the pitching triple crown for the National League. He led National League in WAR that year as well, and he was the 8th best in this year. That wins above replacement they had, the 8th best non-lefty Grove wins above replacement of the 1930s. That's pretty darn cool right there, that he was that high up there in terms of his peers during that decade with just this season, 1939 season. Helped the Reds to the 1939 National League pennant and just absolutely killed it on the mound. 8.2 wins above replacement. Now I look at a lot of these ratings here. 92 stuff, 122 movement, 108 homer rating, 111 pitcher BABIP, 88 control against righties. That is pretty sneakily good right there. I might see this guy maybe being maybe a low, like a 4 or 5 starter on some teams potentially. This guy could have some sneakily good seasons for a lot of teams. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, Bucky Walters, 1939 Cincinnati Reds is it. Perfect team, 24. All right, 2 more packable cards to show off before we get into the toppers. And let's go ahead and talk about our Dead Ball Era Diamond Packable that we have for y'all today. And we take you all the way back. All the way back. Take you all the way back to the 1880s. And this guy, one of the premier shortstops of the 1880s. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 99 overall. One of the best names one of the names you love in perfect team history. 99 overall, Jack Glasscock. Take a moment to appreciate the wonder that is Jack Glasscock. At least for his name. 96 BABIP, 52 power, 117 avoid K, 117 contact, 98 gap power, 52 on the eye. Whoo, Nelly. Oh my God, 10-cent brain, you're right. They even have it circled. That was not intentional, but that's kind of hilarious. That is unintentionally hilarious. Oh my goodness. He's a little bit better against lefties than he is against righties. At shortstop, he has 104 range, 89 error, 95 arm, and 101 on the turn double play. Daggone it, I can't unsee that now. Oh, gracious. 99 BABIP, 56 power, 119 avoid K, 123 contact, 102 cap, and 55 I against lefties. Kudos to our art team. 350. Let's talk about this card here, because this is technically 1886. Again, I was doing these slides at 1 a.m., so I might have flipped the 6 and the 9. And it should be like 1886 on the card. It is 1886 on the card. Should be 1886 at the top. I am an idiot. But let's talk about 1886 for Jack Glasscock here. 325 average, 3 homers, 40 RBI, 38 stolen bases for him that year. Pretty solid year. But, you know, we talk about some great seasons. Great seasons. You know, you talk about his 1889 season where he was just absolutely amazing. 352, 390, 467 with 57 stolen bases that year. Led the majors in hits with 205 of them. That's just amazing. That's amazing right there. And he also had 246 putouts in 1889. 1886, also a fantastic year for him. 6.2 offensive wins above replacement in the 1886 season. That was his best season in that category. 7 wins above replacement, not the best, but just by like 0.1 or so. So this is a solid looking card. Jack Glasscock has some pretty good speed on him. 87 speed, 90 stealing, 93 on the base running. Guys, this is a solid diamond shortstop right here. Jack Glasscock, 1886 is it. Perfect team, 24. All right, one more packable for you guys today. One more packable to show off. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the great contact hitters of the 1910s. Would have been in the Hall of Fame if not for one tiny little bit of a scandal. It is 100 overall left fielder from Cleveland, Shoeless Joe Jackson. 122 BABIP, 78 power, 100 avoid K, 138 contact, 116 gap, 83 on the eye. And this Shoeless Joe can field with the best of them. 94 range, 95 error, 106 on the arm. He can play all 3 outfield positions. A lot better against righties than he is against lefties, but it's not by much. 123 BABIP, 79 power, 101 avoid K, 141 contact, 117 gap, and 84 I against righties. Whoo, buddy, Shoeless Joe. 100 overall card. Man, oh man, we've been waiting. I know y'all have been waiting for this Shoeless Joe Jackson card, and here he is. 1911 season. Just a completely fantastic year for Shoeless Joe. 408, 468, 590 with 7 homers, 83 RBI, 193 OPS plus, 41 stolen bases. And folks, this was his first full season in MLB. His first full season. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I certainly can't. And Jackson led all majors. 408, 468, 590. Led all major leagues in on-base percentage. 41 stolen bases is a career high in his first year in the bigs. First year. And his 408 batting average set a rookie record, which still stands today for the highest batting average a rookie has ever had in American League or National League. Pretty cool stuff right there. Shoeless Joe Jackson from 1911 is in Perfect Team 24. Man, oh man, oh man. All right, folks. It is topper time, baby. It is topper time. Topper time. So, if you get some of these cards from both sets 3 and 4, you will be getting these topper cards for sets 3 and 4. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start in the modern era and talk about probably we talked about a really great rookie year. But let's go to the modern era of baseball. And when you talk about the modern era of baseball, there is just some great players that, we've had in the past decade or so. Some people might say this guy that we have next is the greatest of all time. Some people might say. If he was the greatest of all time, he would have won the 2012 American League MVP against Miguel Cabrera. But he didn't. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2012 LA Angels, it is 100 overall, your modern era set 3 and 4 topper, Mike Trout. From 2012, 119 BABIP, 93 power, 62 avoid K, 125 contact, 97 gap, 100 on the eye. Defensively, he can play both left and center. 107 range, 97 error, 64 on the outfield arm. Ooh, boy, he can run the bases just a little. 105 speed, 116 stealing, and 124 on the base running. Now that is fun right there. Against righties, he has 124 BABIP, 94 power, 63 avoid K, 129 contact, 97 gap, and 98 on the eye. And he's still pretty decent against lefties, has a little bit more eye against lefties, has a little bit more eye against lefties, so he's not completely useless against lefties. But man, this guy, a great defensive profile, great speed stealing and base running, pretty good BABIP focused hitter, has some home run power in him as well. However, when you look at the 2012 season for Mike Trout, it's his first year. The rookie jitters a little bit. He did strike out 139 times. 21.2% strikeout percentage, which isn't great. It's not bad either. But you take a little bit of the good with the bad here. 326, 399, 564 on the slash line for Mike Trout in 2012. 30 homers, 83 RBI, and 49 stolen bases. People forget that Mike Trout had speed. Before 2019. 49 stolen bases, just caught stealing 5 times. My, oh my, oh my. My, oh my, oh my. 168 OPS plus, which led the American League, finished with a unanimous American League Rookie of the Year vote, finished second in MVP to my boy Miguel Cabrera, who 100% deserved it. He was an all-star and a Silver Slugger as well, led Major League Baseball in stolen bases and runs scored as well, and also led Major League Baseball in wins above replacement as well. Why did I say that's a 8.7? Because that's offensive wins above replacement. His wins above replacement that year was 10.5 overall. So that's the best. That's tied for the best of his career with 2016. His defensive WAR, which isn't listed up here, 2.0 defensive wins above replacement, the best number of his career. Which is pretty cool stuff right there. Mike Trout, I gotta say, for as much as I talk about the 2012 American League MVP race and how, Miguel Cabrera 100% deserved the win, Mike Trout was very good in 2012. Maybe not as great as Miguel Cabrera was. But, Mike Trout, pretty cool dude. Very good player. I mean, it's not hard to admit. He's a very good player. Will definitely be in the Hall of Fame. Probably should be recognized one of the greatest of all time. So there you go. Mike Trout, your modern era set 3 and 4 topper is it. Perfect team. 24. Alrighty, next up we go to the Power era. And folks, I know a lot of you have been waiting for this guy. When we revealed Yogi Berra, a lot of people were saying, where's this guy? Where's this guy? Where is this guy? Why do you not have this guy? Folks, I think it is time. I think it's time for our Power era set 3 and 4 topper. From the 1999 Texas Rangers. 100 overall, Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. 103 BABIP, 115 power, 104 avoid K, 136 contact, 98 gap power, 47 I. Whoo, damn. Let's talk about his splits here, shall we? Against righties, 104 BABIP, 119 power, 103 avoid K, 138 contact, 100 gap power, but just 42 on the eye. Against lefties, 101 BABIP, 100 power, 106 avoid K, 132 contact, 92 gap, and 62 on the eye. So a lot better eye against lefties. Defensively, 105 catcher ability, 109 catcher arm, 82 speed, 75 stealing, 95 base running. He can run a little bit too. People forget that Pudge Rodriguez could run back in the day. Woo, 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 woo. Man, this is a hot card right here. Hot card right here. 1999 season for Pudge Rodriguez, the American League MVP of the 1999 season. 332, 356, 558 on the slash line. 35 homers, 113 RBI, 125 OPS plus. He was an all-star that year along with the AL MVP award, Silver Slugger, and a Gold Glove, and he was the first catcher to have 30 or more homers, 100 or more RBI, and 100 or more runs scored in a season in MLB history. And during this year, he threw out 55% of base runners, leading Major League Baseball. Folks, this is a fantastic mission reward for Power Era set 3 and 4. Pudge Rodriguez in Perfect Team 24. All right, next up, let's go to the defensive era for our set 3 and 4 topper. And folks, if you're looking for some speed, whoo, buddy, do we have the card for you. If you're looking for speed and power, this guy is ready to play for you. Because we have 100 overall left fielder from the 1990 Oakland Athletics, the 1990 American League MVP, Rickey Henderson. Rickey Henderson, 97 BABIP, 100 power, 79 avoid K, 118 contact, 96 gap power, 123 on the eye. Whoo, buddy. A solid hitter against both lefties and righties. Defensively, 103 range, 98 error, 67 on the arm. Look at that speed, stealing, and base running. 111 speed, 123 stealing, 113 on the base running. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. 1990 season for Rickey Henderson. I mean, this guy right here. 325, 439, 577 with 28 homers, 61 RBI, and 65 stolen bases. Now, this isn't the gaudy stolen base numbers that Rickey Henderson had in his career, where he had like 100 stolen bases or whatever. But this guy right here, 65 stolen bases, still led the American League. 28 homers, though. This was a power surge year for Rickey Henderson. 28 homers, 61 RBI, hit 325, 439, 577, 300, 400, 500 on the slash line. That's nothing to shake a stick at. Led MLB in on base percentage, OPS plus, and runs scored. Led the American League in stolen bases. And during the 1990 season, I mean, we're talking like throughout the decade of the 1990s, this season, he had the third most home runs from the leadoff spot of the entire 1990s. This single season, third most home runs from the leadoff spot, 28 home runs. Absolutely outstanding stuff. Rickey Henderson, a great addition to your outfield, is in Perfect Team 24. All right, next up, let's go to our Boom Era Set 3 and 4 topper. Let's go to our Boom Era Set 3 and 4 topper, and we take you back to the mid-1960s. This guy, at the top of his game, put together one of the great pitching, actually, no, it's 1966, I believe it should be. It's 1965, 66, whichever one, it really works for both years, to be honest. Because both of these years were fantastic years. Absolutely fantastic years. This guy put together 2 back-to-back seasons of some of the greatest pitching performances we will ever see in Major League Baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, it might say 1966 on the top right of the screen with all the stats I have, but the card is from 1965. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 1965 Los Angeles Dodgers. It is 100 overall, left-handed starter, the left arm of God, Sandy Koufax. 133 stuff, 112 movement, 97 homer rating, 112 pitcher BABIP, 97 control. Against righties, 134 stuff, 113 movement, 98 homer rating, 113 pitching BABIP, 96 control. Then against lefties, he's very good as well. 131 stuff, 111 movement, 94 homer rating, 110 pitching BABIP, 98 control. 105 stamina, 78 on the hold runners, fastball, curveball, forkball, changeup combo, extreme fly ball type, which could be interesting, 92 to 94 on the velocity. Holy cats, Sandy Koufax, your boom era set 3 and 4 topper. Now, let's talk about both seasons, 65 and 66, because these were back-to-back seasons of just absolute greatness. 1965, the year on the card, 26 and 8 with a 2.04 ERA. All right, that's pretty darn good right off the bat. Those both led Major League Baseball. He also led Major League Baseball in strikeouts with 382 of them in 335 innings pitched. That is 10.2 strikeouts per 9, a 5.38 strikeout to walk ratio. Insane. Won the Cy Young, finished second in NL MVP. Plus a 193 FIP as well. 1966. Won the Cy Young, second in MVP again. 27 and 9 with a 1.73 ERA. Whoo, boy. Led MLB in wins, ERA, strikeouts, and even more. And that was at the age of 30. I mean, we're talking his age 29 and 30 seasons. And then the dude revealed he had, arthritis in his arm. It's taken a whole lot of stuff to just make him even pitch. There was a lot of stuff he had to take just to even pitch because he was in so much pain. And he put together two of the greatest pitching performances of all time. Heck, he was probably the greatest left-handed pitcher of all time. And was dealing with these issues so often that he up and retired at the age of 30. And that, you know what? He went out on top. And I think that's the way we all want to go out. Go out on top. Go out on your best season that you've ever had. Be considered one of the greatest of all time. So there you go. Sandy Koufax from the 1965 Los Angeles Dodgers is it. Perfect Team 24. All right, next up. We have had some great left-handed pitchers. All right. Sandy Koufax is a great one, but this next guy, was also a great left-handed pitcher of his era. Not as great as Sandy Koufax was, obviously. But in the golden era, this guy was king. Or shall I say, prince. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 1946 Detroit Tigers, it is 100 overall, Hal Newhouser. 126 stuff, 121 movement, 112 homer rating, 99 pitcher BABIP, 87 control. And this is some pretty solid stats against both lefties and righties. 126 stuff against both lefties and righties. 3 points more in movement against righties. 2 points more in homer against righties. Pitching BABIP, the same against both sides. 8 points better in control against righties than against lefties. 114 stamina, 84 on the hold. Runners, fastball, slider, curveball, changeup combo, 94-96 on the velocity. 26-9 for Hal Newhouser during the 1946 season. 1.94 ERA, 8.5 strikeouts per nine, 3 walks per nine, 190 on the ERA plus. He finished second in AL MVP, won the got an All-Star nod as well, led the American League in ERA, WHIP, and strikeouts per nine, and led MLB in wins. And this was also his third straight season with 25 or more wins and an ERA of less than 2.3. So Hal Newhouser, while he wasn't as great as Sandy Koufax was, still a very great pitcher that will do wonders for your team, potentially. Ladies and gentlemen, 1946, Hal Newhouser from the Detroit Tigers is in Perfect Team 24. All right, 2 more toppers to show off today, and let's go to the Rebirth era. The Rebirth era for our next card, ladies and gentlemen, from the 1924 St. Louis Cardinals, one of the great hitting performances we may have ever seen in baseball history. It is 100 overall, second baseman from the Cardinals, Rogers Hornsby. Rogers Hornsby, 114 BABIP, 127 power, 64 avoid K, 132 contact, 100 gap, 106 on the eye. Whoo, buddy. Whoo, buddy. Against righties, 116 BABIP, 133 power, 63 avoid K, 134 contact, 99 gap, 101 eye. Against lefties, 109 BABIP, 110 power, 67 avoid K, 125 contact, 104 gap, 120 on the eye. Whoo, buddy. Defensively, can play second base, also eligible for short and third. 96 range, 67 error, 79 arm, 90 on the turn double play. Speed, stealing, and base running, not quite there, unfortunately. 1924 season for Rogers Hornsby, he hit 424. That is the 4th highest batting average in Major League Baseball history and the best ever in the live ball era, which is insane to think about. 424 batting average, 507 on base, 696 slugging, 25 homers, 94 RBI, 222 on the OPS plus, finished second in National League MVP and led the American League National League in average and hits, and 12.1 WAR. 5th highest of the live ball era, 2nd highest if you do not count Babe Ruth. Holy cow. This guy, absolutely fantastic. A lot of people have been waiting for this guy. A lot of people have been waiting for this guy to come out. And he is here now as the Rebirth era set 3 and 4 topper. He is in Perfect Team 24. All right, one more card. One more dead ball. Let's go dead ball era. Let's go to the dead ball era set 3 and 4 topper, folks. This guy was a guy who racked up a whole ton of wins for the Chicago White Sox back in the day. He is the last pitcher to have 40 wins in a season. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 1908 Chicago White Sox, it is 100 overall, Ed Walsh. 87 stuff, 119 movement, 111 homer, 91 pitching BABIP, 107 control against lefties. 90 stuff, 122 movement, 113 homer rating, 94 pitching BABIP, 106 control. And against righties, 84 stuff, 117 movement, 110 homer, 88 pitching BABIP, 108 control. 122 stamina, 83 on the hold runners, ground ball guy, which goes well with that BABIP. And he's a screwball guy, which means that's how you get the reverse splits there. Fastball, curveball, and changeup as well in his repertoire. Ed Walsh, solid pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. Definitely one of the best pitchers of the early 1900s. 40-15 record in 1908, a 1.42 ERA. 1.42 for a guy who has the major league record for lowest ERA in a career. That is outstanding. 4.8 strikeout to walk rate, 42 complete games, 11 shutouts. He is the last pitcher to have 40 wins and 400 innings pitched in a season. He led all majors in wins, complete games, shutouts, and strikeouts. And his 1.42 ERA is actually the third lowest in a full season in his career. That's how good he was, that a 1.42 ERA was not the lowest in his career. So folks, perfect guy for the dead ball era set 3 and 4 topper. Ed Walsh from the 1908 Chicago White Sox is it. Perfect team 24. So there you have it. Here is your Immortal Seasons 4 set today. John Denny, Freddie Lindstrom, Sparky Lyle, Alfonso Soriano, Mark McGuire, Ron Santo, Nellie Fox, Jack Glasscock, Yogi Berra, Aroldis Chapman, Bucky Walters, Ron Santo, Dennis Eckersley, Ed Walsh, Eric Gagne, Hal Newhouser, Pudge Rodriguez, Mike Trout, Ricky Henderson, Roger Horsby, Sandy Koufax, and Shoeless Joe Jackson. Woo, these are fun cards today, folks. Fun cards today. Whew. That was a while. All right, before we sign off for the day, let's say a quick congrats to our weekly leaderboard champs for week 28 from October 9th through the 15th. Cubs fan 2003 in the Windy City Polar Bears winning the Daily Iron last week with 114 points. Daily Bronze, it was Zargian 2 and the Debrecen Giants with 108 points. Daily Silver, Robert Cat and the Denver Highlanders with 144 points. Daily Gold, Shy Sox fan 33 and Ozzie Guillen's Gold Sox with 84 points taking the win last week. Daily Diamond, Ricky Vaughn and the Eternia Skeletors, who you will see on October 28th at 1 p.m. for the Perfect Team World Championship. 147 points leading the way in Daily Diamond. Daily Open, BKN Mets fan and the Park Slope Bourbon Bros with 93 points, taking home the title last week. Daily Wildcard won last week by Tom Caudillo and the Black Freighter with 128 points. Weekly tournaments, it was Lidora and the Midgar Materia with 188 points. PD Daily Griffs 142 and the Manchester Worker Bees with 204 points. And PD Weekly won last week by Whiteman and the Alaskan Bullworms, 67 points. Awesome stuff right there. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in for Immortal Seasons Set 4, episode number 225 of This Week in Perfect Team. Appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day, rest of your Thursday. I'll see you back here on Sunday for the Perfect League World Series. Have a great night, everybody. DishNet34, Rob Tomlinson, signing out. Have a great day, everybody.